right, we here, mi gente. Welcome to another episode of On the Block with Jen. Your favorite Bronx pain in the ass is here to share the night with you again. Hola, mi gente, my beautiful people. So nice to see you in the building. What's up, Trish? What's up, Little Pressure? I'm learning, Little Pressure. I'm learning. I didn't know about that word. I didn't know. You like my little old bees? You like my little bees, Yellow? Thank you. Okay. All right, mi gente. So, I know I don't have as many people in the room as I usually have, but I want to start with the video of what I'm talking about because, you know, all of us in the Latin community, we know about this story, right? A lot of other people don't know. They don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm talking about the Bronx love triangle that went viral, okay? This story was brought to my attention and I thought it needed some dissecting. It has some different layers to it, and the way that it's exploded and what it turned into is very, very interesting, right? So I'm talking about very specifically in El Bronx, New York. There's a Dominican couple and the baby mama caught the baby daddy in his Rubicon Jeep, getting some, lip and mouth service from a gay man. Now, it's blown up since then, and you're not going to believe what it's blown up to, but the story did go viral. And now I'm seeing Little Pressures explaining some things that I'm very, very curious about. And it kind of goes along with what I was thinking about the Dominican community already, but I think Little Pressure just confirmed it, and I'm going to get into that. Little Pressure. But first, let me show people this video so they know exactly what I'm talking about. If they don't know anything about the Latin community in New York City or they've been under a rock, this story did go viral. So I'm just going to show you a couple seconds of the baby mama confronting the baby daddy in the Jeep. This is not acting. Don't nobody hit me with they were acting. This is real. She's huffing and puffing. She's holding her baby while she's confronting the guy. The guy comes out the car. I want you to see this for yourself. And then we're going to discuss, okay, what this has turned into, the hell it's turned into, and how they're even trying to monetize this after it happened. Because, you know, the new world order is you go viral, you can make it a lucrative thing for yourself, right? If you play your cards right. So let me show you this video. This happened at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This wasn't 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Homie got caught at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in front of his apartment building where he lives with his baby mama and his baby. So here it is. I'm going to play this for y'all just so you know.
Sí, túmbame con la niña. Túmbame con la niña. Túmbame, asqueroso. Eso es lo que tú eres. Un asqueroso. Eso es lo que tú eres, asqueroso. Mírate. Sucio, metiéndose en un maricón. ¿Me va a dar? Dame para que haga.
Okay, guys. So, we play that for you one more time because I told you I only got 30 seconds of it. The longer video is available online. I don't have the longer video for y'all, right? I give y'all 30 seconds. You guys are smart enough to figure the rest out, okay? But here we go once again. For those of you who don't speak Spanish, she's basically calling him disgusting. She's trying to pull him out of the car. Apparently, he's either drunk or high. I don't know. And she's saying that he's disgusting. And when he comes out the car, she's holding their toddler. So she's telling this man in Spanish, watch, you don't knock me down. I got your daughter in my arms. So she's confronting him at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, shorty got the doobie on in her hair. You know what I mean? The house closed. And she came down and caught her baby daddy in his Jeep with a gay man. Now, if you look towards the end when he falls out the car, the gay man is sitting in the passenger seat and he's like, oh shit, we are caught. But it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It is broad daylight. So you want to talk about bold? This is bold, okay? So let me show it to you one more time.
Asqueroso. Sí, túmbame con la niña. Túmbame con la niña. Túmbame, asqueroso. Eso es lo que tú eres. Un asqueroso. Eso es lo que tú eres, asqueroso. Mírate, sucio metiéndose los maricón. ¿Eh? ¿Me va a dar? Dame para acá.
Okay. Guys, ladies, let's dissect this, okay? Because this went every which way since then. Let me tell you what the homie said. At first, it was humiliating. And apparently, this Dominican man, his name is Alex, I guess now he's making it work for him because he's like, now I'm outed, right? So he is some sort of small club promoter in New York City. And he started throwing parties with this gay guy, right? At first it was like humiliating. And now the guy is, I guess, grabbing the bull by the horns. And it's like, fine, you want to out me as a gay person? I'm going to do this gay thing. And he literally posted on his Instagram, un mamaita al año, you know what I mean? Doesn't do any harm, which basically means me getting my knob sobbed once a year, you know what I mean, isn't a bad thing, right? Hence the question, does one gay encounter make you gay? The guy is claiming, hey, I get it sucked by a guy once a year. It's not a big deal. It doesn't make me gay, right? Now, I do know, and you're going to get mad at me, my Dominican familia, but this is just my observation. Again, On the Block with Jen is just my observations. If you don't like it, you can walk it off or fuck off. I'd rather you stay because, you know, every day is a different subject, right? But it's just every now and then I throw a rock and it hits you and you want to, right? You'll get over it. It's always fun here. So it's my observation growing up in the Bronx, New York, right? You know, all our cultures are different. Puerto Ricans are very hip hop. Black people are very hip hop in their lingo, in their dress. Dominicans are very metrosexual to me, in my opinion. Like they're always in the slippery bottoms, they're very tight pants, the pink shirts, you know, right? They're metrosexual. Now, I always thought, okay, maybe it's a Caribbean thing, it's an island thing, you know what I mean? The Latin lover, you know, that type of look. That's what I thought. But come to find out, a couple of people I told this story about, and I told them they were like, no, there's like being gay and down low in the Dominican community, especially in New York City, it's like it's a known thing. And I'm like, what do you mean it's a known thing, right? So I'm talking to people that know more than me, right? Because I just thought Dominican men were just like, you know, metrosexual. They like their, you know, shiny lips and they like their eyebrows waxed. And I was like, you know, Caribbean guys, I think, tend to be more feminine than people that grew up in the city, in my opinion. You don't like it, blow it out your ass. This is my opinion. You guys can disagree. I'll open the panel later. But I'm just telling you what I've seen growing up in New York City. Dominicans tend to be more metrosexual than the guys I'm normally around who rock the Timbs and the white tees. Ya tú sabes, okay? You know what I'm talking about. So come to find out, Little Pressure just left this comments. And this is just, he's co-signing what my friends told me when I was telling them I was going to talk about this story. And I want to know how true this is. Y'all teach me. Each one teach one. But Little Pressure says, as a Colombian American that grew up in New York City, I met plenty. And he threw in a couple N's there, okay, for emphasis. I met plenty of Dominican brothers who claimed bugaron. Okay, I've never heard the phrase bugaron, and that's what I love about On the Block with Jen. I'm learning, and y'all are learning. He said bugaron is not gay. It's only gay if you receive. But I think digging peanut butter is sodomizing. Now, bugaron, if I understand correctly, thank you for sharing that with me. I've never heard that word before. Is not gay. It's only gay if you receive. Now, by receive, do you mean like up the butt or head? Or what do you mean by you receive? And also, what do you mean? Like if the straight man is giving to the gay man, then he's not gay? This is interesting. But I'm starting to hear this from the grapevine. So now, you know, it's interesting because I'm like, wow, I always did think Dominican men were a tad feminine, but again, I thought it was just a Caribbean thing. They like their slippery shoes and their jeggings, their leggings that look like, jeans, and their button downs. They wear the Versace and the Gucci and the Burberry and the Prada. They do that whole outfit they do. I'm like, it's just their thing. And I always look at a group of people like, that's just your thing, right? It's your demographic, it's your culture, whatever, right? That's different from the guys I grew up with, because again, they're all about their Tims and their white tees and their saggy pants. And it's different, right? It's different. But I didn't automatically think that there was this little homosexual community or a pass given for homosexuality or bugarons as little pressure. So I'm learning. I'm learning along with you guys today. Interestingly enough, the gay guy in the car and depending on what you think, both of them were gay or the one that was straight, but the baby daddy that stumbled out of the car and now the gay guy that was in the passenger seat named Kuka, they are using this to their advantage. And now they're promoting club nights in New York City with both of them on the flyer, which I find very interesting. But as you guys know, the new world order is there's no such thing as bad press, but now it's with steroids, right? Because you would think normally a man who got caught, right, with a gay man, a man who's living a straight life, right? He got a baby mama. As far as she knew, he was a straight man, right? As far as she knew, she was like, I did not know this man was gay or on a DL, which is why she was so upset, right? Now, a lot of people probably thinking, man, she shouldn't have did that holding her kid. Listen, I've been upset and have done stuff I shouldn't have done. We all have. So I'm not going to judge the woman. It was 2:00 in the afternoon. She had on her house clothes and a whole doobie in her head. I don't know if she was just walking to the bodega and saw him in the car. I don't know if she was tipped off and saw him in the car and she had her baby and no babysitter. And she was like, I'm going to confront him. The adrenaline is going and you're angry because not only is your man in the car getting head or smashing a gay man, but it's a shock, right? So I'm not about to say she shouldn't have had her kid. Like, shit happens, right? When you're in that moment, crimes of passion happen, and she confronted him in that moment with her child. A lot of people say she shouldn't have had her child with her. I'm not going to judge the woman. I don't know what their history is. Yes, the ideal situation would be she got a babysitter, but before confronting homie in the car, but it happened how it happened, right? We can also say, why the fuck was this dude at 2:00 in the afternoon smashing another man in front of his apartment building? I think that's a lot worse than her spur of the moment. I got my baby. I'm going to confront this guy. But you guys, let me know what you think, right? Because I could be wrong. I'm really wrong, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Morena Reyes said, you're not thinking in that moment. I totally agree. Like, it's like when things just happen at that moment, you're like, what the, you know what I mean? So, now what do you guys think? He's saying, listen, it doesn't make me gay. It's not a big deal. He literally put on his Instagram, una mamadita al año, getting sucked once a year is not a big deal. So does that make little pressure right? Is the bugarong actually a thing in the Dominican community in New York City? If you're in the chat and you're Dominican, you can correct me if I'm wrong. We're here to learn. I'm just calling it like I see it. And that is how I've been seeing it, mi gente. So there's another layer to this, which is similar to what happened with Benzino and Shauna Brooks. A lot of people are criticizing this baby mama for outing the gay man. And as you know, in the gay community, in the LGBTQ community, that's a big no. You're not supposed to out someone who has not come out. What do you think about that? Do we give this baby mama a pass for quote unquote outing her baby daddy because of the situation? Or do you still think she didn't have to throw him, on social media? She didn't have to make him go viral. She could have confronted him behind the scenes, because as we know, outing a gay person can be very, very dangerous for them, their workspace, their family, their environment. It could be very, very dangerous to out someone who's not ready to come out. Or do you think the gloves are off if it's a woman who finds her man with another man? What do you think about that? Because they're saying she shouldn't have outed him. Similarly with Shauna Brooks and Benzino. Shauna Brooks is a transgender woman, and she's claiming that her and Benzino had a thing. Allegedly, I do not know, but that is what she's claiming. She's even making a diss record. According to what she says, her and Benzino were doing behind the scenes. So it kind of backfired on her, where they're saying you shouldn't out Benzino if he hasn't come out. Now, Benzino is denying, right? He said we were just friends, right? But what do you think about being outed versus coming out? And do you think that, either straight or gay, they have a right to out a gay person? And for what purpose exactly, right? Listen, I am of the theory it is 2022. At this point, the fact that we care so much about who's gay and who isn't gay still kind of surprises me, because people, at this point, they're identifying as clowns, eggplants, mermaids. I mean, there's a whole website dedicated to people who are now identify as mermaids, and they wear the fins and swim around. So I'm like, I don't even know why there's such a stigma still in 2022. There's a man who identifies as a tiger and rearranged his whole face to be a tiger. So I don't know why this gay thing is still such a hot button topic in 2022. Like, really? Do we really care, right? Apparently we care. So I'm going to open the panel. And if you have an opinion on whichever one it is, she was not in her right to out this man. Shauna Brooks is not in her right to out Benzino, or do you think it's harmful for these people to be down low and gay because it continues the stigma surrounding the LGBTQ community? Do you think the baby mama should have kept it to herself, angry or not? Do you think Shauna Brooks should mind her business? But Shauna Brooks also says she's tired of these straight guys taking advantage of the transgender community. So what say you? What do you think? Is it nobody's business? Is it everybody's business? Or are you sick of the whole gay thing, like who's gay today and who isn't? Like, why do we care? Why do we care so much? Why is this still a headline? Okay. Hey, Lily, are you coming up? Are you coming up? So I'm going to drop the link. Feel free to come up and let's talk about this. I'm so intrigued by this bugarong theory. I'd never heard of that, but I gotta say, I am not shocked, because like I said, Dominican men, in my experience, growing up in the Bronx, in El Bronx, New York, right? I find them a tad feminine, right? But I just thought it was I just thought it was a, you know what I mean, a cultural thing, a little, island thing. They like their slippery bottoms and their jeggings. I'm like, hey, okay, that's what you guys do. Okay, so I dropped the link. Whoever wants to come up, please, by all means, click that link and get up here and let's talk about this. And while I'm waiting for someone to come up really quickly, if you're just in the room, thank you. Hit that like and subscribe if you haven't. Let me run this video again really quickly. It is 30 seconds. It is the baby mama in the Bronx who confronted her baby daddy in his car with a gay man, having sex with a gay man. That baby daddy claims that doesn't make him gay. Okay, so here she is confronting her baby daddy, 2:00 in the afternoon, holding her toddler. Also, the guy first said that he was drunk or high. They drugged him and he didn't know there was a gay man in the car. That was the first thing. And then it transformed into, getting sucked once a year doesn't make you gay. And then, now he's promoting parties. So this is, this has been going through layers. So let me run it for you. It's just 30 seconds. Welcome. And I see Lily backstage, and Lily's going to give us her 2 cents. And I'm looking forward to this. Haran is backstage as well. So let me run this for the people who just walked in the room.
Asqueroso. Sí, túmame con la niña. Túmame con la niña. Túmame, asqueroso. Eso es lo que tú eres. Un asqueroso. Eso es lo que tú eres, asqueroso. Mírate. Sucio, metiéndose a un maricón. ¿Me va a dar? Dame para que haga.
Okay, someone said mute my mic while I play it. So I will do that again. Tris is talking like he understands Spanish. But I'll do it, Tris, because you know you my ears. I will mute me and play it one more time before we get into the panel. For those of you who don't speak Spanish, she's calling him disgusting. She's saying, oh, you're going to knock me down with this baby. And the video is a lot longer. I just got 30 seconds for you. But the video is redundant. It's basically her yelling at him the same thing over and over again. She pulls him out of the car. He falls out. He's either drunk or high. I can't tell. But he's incoherent. He's just looking at her and his pants are down. So, you know, that's basically the gist of the entire video. And then there's another angle because the gay man in the car is also recording her, recording him. So there are different layers to this. So let me mute my mic and play this for you guys one more time. It's so heart-wrenching because, you know, you feel for a woman that's this upset. I've been there and you like your adrenaline is going. But here we go.
Asqueroso. Sí, túmame con la niña. Túmame con la niña. Túmame, asqueroso. Eso es lo que tú eres. Un asqueroso. Eso es lo que tú eres, asqueroso. Mírate. Sucio metiéndose en un maricón. ¿Me va a dar? Dame para que haga.
I hope that was better, guys. Is it still echo? Okay, basically, well, you know what she was saying. So let me bring up some of my esteemed panelists. These are really, really some of my favorite people who always have great opinions about life in general. And I'll drop the link for anyone who's just coming in. You know, I feel for the woman. I feel for the child who's crying hysterically. There's a lot going on here. I think, you know, I'm split on. It's sad that this dude is capitalizing and making this thing funny. I don't think it's funny. He does have a daughter. The internet is forever. Social media is forever. I also feel for the woman. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on here, but I want to know more about these bugarongs. And I welcome Lily from YB Limited. Hello.
Hey, Jen.
Good to see you. You haven't been up here in a while. So happy to see you.
I know. It's great to be up here. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, we could hear you great.
Okay.
And then I have Haran backstage, but I wanted to speak to you first before I bring up Haran. And I need us on the full screen, okay?
Okay, so do I have to turn it this way?
No, we're good. No, I'm saying this because if I do this, then we're further away. But I want it. What do you think?
Yes, no, I like.
All right, let's make a scene. That's what that's all about. Okay, so Lily, first of all, have you heard of this story?
No, I haven't heard of this particular story. But like I said in the chat, Jen, I could write a series of books on this particular topic because I feel like I am, stir it up, because listen.
See me, right?
Like, let me just qualify myself real quick before I go into it. You know, as you know, but I'm pretty sure that the audience doesn't know that I am an openly trans woman, trans, non-gender conforming, all of that good stuff. I don't really like all the labels and titles, but just for the sake of this conversation, okay? And, you know, a huge part of my story from the early onset of my dating life up until I was 32 and I'm now 41, I dated 95% DL men.
Woo! Woo! Can we hear that again for all the people that are in denial?
Yeah, this is a very, very, very layered, deep conversation because I didn't just have sex with these men, okay? Like, because I've always been obsessed with human behavior. Always. As a child, I would watch adults and how they interact and things like that. So I've always wanted to know what was going on in a human's brain. And it was always fascinating to me about how anyone could live a double life, you know, because they would share things with me that I know they haven't shared with anyone else, right? And so I would share these intimate bonds with these people, but then they would go, and a lot of them will go and in public bash homosexuals, because at the time I identified as a gay male. So they would bash homosexuals, they would bash transgenders in public, so that people could say, oh, I know he don't fool around because you hear how he is, all of that stuff, right? They will have sex with us and then they'll beat us up, all that good stuff. So this is a typical story, nothing new. Now that's just to qualify myself, but I want to also, because there was two stories brought up. There was this story and then the one with Benzino and Shauna Brooks. Two totally completely different things, but I want to address both of them.
Yes, please.
So I was just introduced to this story through the video that you explained it, and I watched the video. This one, okay, I don't believe in outing typically, but there's always an exception to the rule. Okay. And I feel like this particular situation is an exception to the rule. Now, if you identify as LGBTQIA plus ABC elemental P, whatever we're doing this week, if you identify in the queer community, right? Our fight, that, you know, from my understanding, is for equal rights. And we're fighting to say that there's nothing wrong with loving or having sex with who I want to have sex with as a consenting adult. Well, my problem with outing is, and I guess I'm going into the Shauna Brooks thing first, but my problem with outing is, it can't be, oh, nothing's wrong until I don't get my way. And now I want to use my transsexual, ality as a weapon. I can't have it both ways. Because personally, I don't feel like anything's wrong, because with humans having sex or being in love with each other, especially consenting adults. Okay, let me be very clear about that. And so because of that, I have never, and I will never out anyone, because of that reason, because it's no one's business. It's no one's business in a heterosexual relationship. So I treat anything I do sexually or in my relationships as any other heterosexual person, would do. So that's how I feel about the Shauna Brooks thing. And there's more to Shauna Brooks. She clout chaser vibes. And yeah, stuff like that. I feel like it leaves a negative impact for my community, and it makes it harder for people like me. Like, people don't even want to take pictures with people like me because they just might be fearing that I'm gonna be messy. And I can't blame them. I can't get mad at them. So, but in this particular situation with this lady, you hit it on the nail. It was a crime of passion, number one. Number two, I'm assuming she went into this relationship not knowing that he had a same-sex attraction, okay? Now, this is the thing. When it comes to our attractions and things like that, I do feel like the only people that we do owe it to is our partner. But it's also our responsibility to ask before we get involved with someone, especially, like you said, it's 2022. We realize that there's people doing a lot of different things. So if that's one of your things that bothers you, get that clear real quick. Clear that up real quick before, and then my thing is saying low battery. So you might want to clear that up. And so let's just assume she went into this relationship not knowing. He deceived her. If that's what happened. He deceived her. She walked in on something. Crime of passion. She don't owe nothing to no LGBT community. She's angry. She's angry in that moment. And you can't get someone angry and then tell them how mad they get. You don't get the right to do that. You can't say, hey, I just, punched you in the face. You shouldn't have shot me. I mean, yeah, he probably shouldn't have shot you, but you shouldn't have punched him in the face. Like, so I look at it as that type of situation. So that's how I'm viewing it.
Do you, I want to go quickly back to outing. Why is it dangerous even deadly to out somebody? Why is that like a big, thing in the community? Or are we at a point where it's like, doesn't matter if you're outed? Like this guy in particular, now he's monetizing being outed. Do you think this could send the wrong message in the community?
Yes. I think it's just a toxic situation. Any toxic situation can leave a bad message in different communities, including the LGBT community. But, outing is dangerous, God, for so many reasons. I've had situations with dealing with down low men that I felt like my life could be, because listen, Jen, I let me be really clear what I'm attracted to. Like, I mean, and I'm married, so I'm not trying to, just saying, happy marriage. But I always loved the guy who no one would suspect. That was my thing, right? And my other thing was, because of that, I never went after the guy. I have never and will never initiated, because I don't know. Right? So, baby, it's clear with me what the T is. So you got to come to me. So that's the first thing. So usually that's how that works. They come to me, and I used to like the gangsters. I used to like the drug dealers. I loved the entertainers, all of that stuff. The people that you suspect. Because of that, though, I and this is one of the reasons why I stopped doing it. There were certain guys, and especially in the street lifestyle, that I felt like my life could be in danger because they've been put in that situation before, and so now they're paranoid. So they'll have sex with you, but then they will kill you if they think it may get out. So it's risk.
You're freezing. Is that me?
Who they may want to interact with, So yeah, it's real dangerous.
Okay, so I wanted to Lee, first of all, thank you for being so transparent, because I see in the chat people are learning. Can you guys hear me, or does it sound choppy? Because now it sounds choppy to me.
It's a little
Can you hear me?
sound thing going on. And some sound static or something.
Shit. Testing, 1, 2. You guys got me? Now it sounds like potato chips.
Right. Miss StreamYard, is it StreamYard? Miss StreamYard to get like she pulls stuff and shows. Yeah, StreamYard sucks ass. All right. Hold on, let me go out and come back in, because this conversation is so damn good. Okay. I guess I'm entertained, and I wonder if I can even read the chat so that because I know some people may not understand this particular topic. So I'm gonna go in just in case there's some questions or anything like that. Somebody said I identify as a billionaire and I demanded to be treated as such. Hey, okay.
How's this guy? How's this guy?
It's still giving you lazy realness.
Oh my God. This is so fucking ridiculous. Let me see something. Hold on, lady. Hold on one moment. Hold on. Can you hear me? Look, Lily, when I muted you, the potato chip stopped. Oh, I said when I muted you, the potato chip stopped.
No, I still heard it. Let's see if the chat hears it.
You still heard it? Hold on, because when I muted you, it stopped. Let me bring up somebody else and see. How about talk now, Lily?
Can you hear it?
Yeah, keep talking.
Okay, because I heard it with you, but even when I had it on mute, I could still hear it with you.
I think it went away.
Okay.
No, there it is. Let me bring up somebody else to see if. Hold on. Tristan.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear the potato chips?
Yeah, it's her mic, but it's probably like real sensitive. It's probably a sensitive thing.
It's Lily's mic?
Yes.
Oh, Lily, so it's probably when you talk and then when I respond, your mic is doing something weird. You want to go out and come back in because I need you really quick. I don't know how long I have you for, but I have some more questions. You want to try going out and coming back? Okay.
That sounds, guys. I know, guys. Okay, this is a serious stream, and
Okay, guys. So while we're waiting for Lily to come back, I'm gonna add the gentleman on stage. How are your YouTube guys?
Jen, you have an echo on your end.
Somebody got an echo.
It might be me. I'll come back.
It gotta be Reese who's coming up with the bullshit. All right, guys. How about now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We
Can you
good.
hear me, fellas?
Everything good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for joining me. Haran, Tristan, Little Pressure. Little Pressure, you had a lot of info on this. The Bugarons, while we're waiting for Lily to come back, can you please elaborate on Bugarong?
Well, first of all, Lily was great. Everything she said, it was great that she was the first one. And salutes to you, Jen, for bringing this content. But actually, somebody that I grew up in New York, I heard that word a lot. I'm Colombian, but I grew up with a lot of Dominican, Puerto Rican / African Americans. So bugarrón was a word that I will always push them on, because I would be like, hold on, where is the borderline of gay and bugarrón? And they will claim that, look, and that's when I say there's a difference between a gay person and a person that likes to, a sodomizer. Because I feel like bugarrón is a man's way to say, oh, they don't penetrate me. I just give it to them, in a sense. And I always heard that word growing up in the Bronx, so that's why I kind of brought up the word. I'm surprised you never heard that word.
I've never heard bugarrón, but just so we're clear, bugarrón means someone who is giving, not receiving, and therefore doesn't consider themselves gay, like something that would happen in prison. Like,
for example, it happens a lot on the porn industry, for example, because in the porn industry, a lot of times, you gotta mute her. A lot of times, you have porn stars that they get better offers from the gay industry than, let's say, regular porn. And then you have a lot of porn stars. They have that decision that they're like, hey man, I could become a millionaire just for being on stage. It's kind of like when you see a porn star having their first black girl. It's a barrier within those lines. So just so I come out, I don't have anything against the LGBT community. My thing is, in this case of the gentleman, is I don't like when a man is living a fake life. Another thing is, I feel bad for that woman, because I feel like, look, gay men are the most clean men out there. Like, gay men, they hanging out with their condoms, they hanging out with their, if they gotta, if they know what they're doing, When it comes to a married man like this guy, look, he didn't even program. He didn't even say, hey man, let me take my side boyfriend to the hotel. Let me sleep with him. Let's do it how it should be. Men like him are like politicians. Like, they get caught up giving a blowjob to an FBI agent because of the fact that, and then that same man comes to the house and get the women, infected with certain things. Not with her not knowing that, hey man, I the vagina and the anus is two different things. No disrespect, and I think because
are they different?
I mean, I've seen babies come out of a vagina and the vagina comes back and close up. The vagina,
Yes, vaginas are amazing things. They are amazing things.
They are. They clean themselves, Compared to the other one, it's like a releasing. I don't want to get into that, but I just feel like bugarrón is a hypocritical word.
Okay, I'd love to ask Lily before I ask the other gentleman about this. Lily, what do you think about the word bugarrón? Is it bullshit if you're just the giver and not receiving? Can you absolve yourself from homosexuality? Can you say, I'm not gay because I just give?
Okay, this is where I think I'm about to piss everyone off. I knew it
Uh-oh.
wasn't going to take long. All right. First of all, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. So this is, I'm just going to give you how I view sexuality, because I think the problem where I have come to realize.
Lily, are you on Wi-Fi, Lily? Because I think are you on Wi-Fi or are you on regular your phone internet?
Yeah, it's like the chip.
It's on Wi-Fi.
Get off the Wi-Fi. Get off the Wi-Fi.
I'll try another device.
I would say
come
that
back?
just get like a headset.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
it's coming out choppy. It's coming out very choppy.
Yeah,
And we need to hear you because we're talking about, so I think we need your word, low key, I'm a man, she's a woman, we don't know, I don't even want to say nothing disrespectful, so I feel like we
come
really
back,
need
Lily. Come back, because I want to hear what you have to say. All right, so while we wait for Lily to come back on another device, gentlemen, Reese, I muted you because you always got some background, some shit popping off back there.
Am I good now? Am I good now?
A hiss. There's like a.
What about now?
There's a hiss, like you buy an AC or something, or a fan.
Reese, you have a studio mic. It's gonna pick up everything in the room. What do you mean? That's what that is. It's your mic. That's all.
Sound like you got
You just gotta mute when other people are talking, bro.
Yeah, just mute while we talking, unless you wanna say something. Gentlemen, this is a sticky one. No pun intended. This is a sticky one. You guys saw the video. The dude is like, hey, if this happens once a year, it doesn't make me gay. Little Pressure is talking about bugarong, which means if you're the giver, you're not receiving, you're not gay. Does one gay encounter make you gay? What is your opinion on this? Do you think she was wrong for blasting him? Do you think she was wrong for having a child with her? What do you think?
First of all, that loud ass pink shirt should have been some indication that he was into some interesting things. Second of all, what is the term bugaron and so on and so forth? First of all, I think he's full of shit. I don't think he's getting his dick sucked like once a year. You know what I mean? By another man. Especially if he enjoys it. He's just gonna be like, all right, well, I'll see you next December. Like, come on, man. Like we're supposed to believe that the next occurrence is going to be what, February 2023. Like, come on, man.
Right.
Like you're gay once a year. Like that's I don't think that's how it works. You know what I mean? I will say this though. I wish the child didn't have to see that. I wish he didn't have to see that. It's a very traumatizing situation. He's very sloppy. It's extremely sloppy. He should have, opted to just be more discreet, if not for himself, just for the sake of his reputation and his family, and not bring shame to his family if you're not man enough, or if you're not comfortable with being honest about who you are. But I will say this. I think there's a lot of guys who are living the same double life. I think that there's a lot of women who would deny that their husbands are living these double lives. I think that because I've actually spoken to a gay man, and he's told me a number of things, and he said he told me flat out. He said he knew the dude more than the dude's wife knew him. And a lot of these men, they go down this route, and they go down this route because of social pressures. They have to get married and so on and so forth. And we also have to talk about the ugly, very ugly truth in the room. A lot of times, and I've seen this, particularly with women. Like, women are supportive. Somebody can push back on me on this.
Too, bro. Your phone is a little choppy.
I'm choppy now.
I can hear him fine.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've seen with women is that they're fine with gay men just as long as that guy's not desirable.
What do you mean?
I've seen that a lot of times. Well, one of the things, like for instance, I remember one time before. Who's a good example? Back in the days, this guy named Rock Hudson. He was a leading man, huge leading man, and I believe he eventually came out as gay. But one of the main things that they didn't, one of the reasons why, they didn't want to expose that, was that he was a leading man.
Mhm.
He was attractive. He was someone that women wanted. So it would have been a sticky situation for him to come out and be like, "Yeah, I'm gay." I mean, would everybody be cool if Idris Elba said he was gay? Or if LL Cool J said he was gay, or if The Rock said that, yeah, I'm gay, is that cool, or is it easier to, well, I was going to say swallow, but is that easier to to accept than, say, a Billy Porter? Say like, yeah, Billy Porter's gay. Is that easier to accept? I've seen that, a number
I
of
get what
times
you're
before.
saying. I get what you're saying. That's a good point. It's a great point, because I would be taken aback if The Rock said, "Hey, I'm gay now," or Idris Elba said it. I think it doesn't matter whether they're attractive or not. If they don't come out, but just if we know them to be gay, like
Right.
in the beginning, right? Let's say someone is attractive. Yeah, let me use an example. Who's been gay and out forever? Like who's gay in the industry that we've always known as gay, but they're attractive? Anybody?
Neil Patrick Harris.
George Michael.
Oh,
There
yeah,
you
George
go.
Michael was gay. Yeah, George Michael was gay. Yeah.
George Michael, perfect, right? Like it's like he was very attractive. I'm sure a lot of women wanted him, but we've always known that he was gay. I think it's different after a man sells himself as
Oh, got you.
a ladies' man. And then it's like, you know what I mean? 10 years later, he's like, "Sorry, ladies, I'm gay." Women are going to be like, "Wait a fuck." It's the same thing with Ricky Martin. Ricky Martin's beautiful, right? But, he's selling us the "I'm a straight guy," or his music videos are with beautiful women. He's selling the image of, soy macho. So then when he comes out as gay, everybody's like, "We feel like you lied. You done lied to me." But I understand why they do it, right? And again, I don't think these people owe us anything, right? I'm not the type
I
of
have
person,
another question.
you lied to me. Like, it's your fucking life. If I liked your music, I liked your music. I don't feel betrayed. But it's true, Haran. A lot of women do feel betrayed when these men come out. If I like your art, I like your art. I don't care. I mean, I don't look at an artist and think, "Oh, I have a shot with Ricky Martin, so let me like him for that reason." If I like your music, I like your music. If I like your films, I like your films. I'm not going to like you less if you come out, because I'm not looking at you because I think I'm eventually going to be with you or sleep with you, right? And I think a lot of women, they get disenchanted because they're looking at these guys like, "Oh my God, he's the ultimate." But I like art. I'm an artist, so I'm all about art. But that's a great point that you bring up. If Idris Elba was to come out as gay, all hell would break loose, right?
I got another question. Do
Okay,
you
then
think that?
to Tristan and Reese and for their opinion. Go ahead, Haran.
Yeah. Just one more question. Do you think that black men would be given the same grace as, say, a white male if they came out as gay and they were desirable? Do you think that black and brown men are given that same grace, and why is that?
Definitely not. Definitely not. The Stonewall riots will let you know, because a lot of people don't realize that the gay movement started in the 1970s in New York City, like on Christopher Street. Literally Christopher Street. It was Puerto Ricans and blacks at the front lines. And that was when it wasn't popular. That was when they called it sodomizing, when being gay was send them to the crazy literally they used to say that was a mental problem. Disorder. So when it wasn't gentrified, when it was mostly people like us, it wasn't too popular. It was a riot. It took until white men become gay that it's like, oh, Caitlyn Jenner is Woman of the Year. It took, she was a woman for 9 months, like low key, like.
And that's the issue I had with that, by the way. Not that Bruce went from Bruce to Caitlyn. My issue with that was, motherfucker, you just got here 9 months ago. Okay, you know what women have to fucking go through. Give me that damn award. You just wanted to beat them with it, because like, wait a minute, there were so many women that year that achieved so much, and I'm like, you just got here, you asshole. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I have to go through on a daily basis. So that I felt that was a little premature. I thought it was a little premature, but I'm sure they did it because it's controversial and controversy sells. I get it. But you're absolutely right. If it was Idris Elba, a black man coming out, all hell would break loose. A lot of people don't know Puerto Rico, the island, is still very, very homophobic. They're still killing trans people there just because they're trans, right? So even not just in the black community, but in the Latin community, it's still a big deal if you're gay to this day in 2022. Why the fuck? I do not know, but you got religion and tradition and all that and what have you playing a part. So it's still really, really messed up. Tristan, you didn't speak on, or Reese, you didn't speak on what you thought about, in particular, the incident in the Jeep in the Bronx, and then Shauna Brooks and Benzino. What is going on?
I'll talk about that in a minute. We all overlook the medical aspect of this. Now, I'm old. I was around when the gay thing first went public and when the AIDS epidemic first started. And AIDS, one of the things that helped it evolve beyond needles sharing and the obvious other stuff was these undercover dudes lying to their women. AIDS was spread around a lot, just like that. And AIDS didn't come from gay people. It was an attack on gay people. Okay? There was a liberal movement in the 70s where a lot of things happened. Women went bananas, gay people went, and gay people started coming out and they, fuck that, we ain't hiding no more. Black people went crazy. All right? So what happened was, now you got gay clubs opening up, gay establishments just for gay people. Nothing wrong with it. I think every group should have their own stuff. The thing is, they went under attack.
Safe spaces, like a safe spaces for gay people.
Right. So what happened is, now I don't want to offend anybody gay, but apparently there's a connection between homosexual men and Hep C. Wait a minute, Hep B, one or the other, right? Well, it was back then when it first jumped out and everybody went public with it. That was a problem, or so they told everybody, right? But apparently there were a lot of gay dudes going to the hospital for one thing or the other. So they brought out some policy and bullshit, put some money together and some funds, and decided they were going to help the gay community. And they came out with a vaccine. Oh, guess who was there? Tony Fauci. Yeah, he goes back that far. He's had his job that long. And if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember the university in New York it was, but it happened, that cure was developed at that university in New York by Fauci. I think Gates, one of Gates' family members, and another guy that's important, and they got the bread and brought out this vaccine for Hep B or whatever it was. The shit didn't remove hepatitis. It made people worse. Then they blamed the shit on the monkey in Africa. That was an attack on the gay community specifically. And essentially it became an attack on us. But they hit them first. You know, AIDS affected everybody. Unborn children, heterosexual, everyone. Drug addicts. But it was an attack on the gay community. Now here's another thing I want to address. By her exposing him like that, that's a positive thing, in my opinion. I'm not disagreeing with nobody else up here. But she has to put him out there if he's dangerous to the community. You see what I'm saying? If there was a car thief that lived on your block, you would tell all your neighbors. Just to keep them safe. That's the only thing I don't like about this, is the medical aspect of it. Nothing else having to do with it. Doesn't raise a hair on my body. Don't really care.
Let me interrupt really quickly. Let me interrupt because I want to ask Lily a question. I don't think that man is a menace to his community, and here's why. Safe sex is your responsibility. Let's be clear. Safe sex is your responsibility. I will stand and die on that hill. It is nobody's fault if they burned you. Sorry, right? Unless that person is telling you it's just me and you forever and we're committed. But if you're just a person, you're a free loving person, that burn is on you. Okay.
I was referring to him burning his wife, by the way, too. You know what I mean? Not
Okay, that's different. But as far as the community, I want to ask you, Lily, what do you think about the correlation of like when you hear the word gay and AIDS, or when you hear the word gay and hepatitis C or B? How do you feel about that? Because I think we have to be very careful with that language.
Yes, we do. For the gentleman that was just speaking, I was a lot of what he was saying was definitely correct from the medical aspect. I'm sorry for all the noise. I'm out of town and I'm but yeah, for the medical aspect, definitely correct. But then it gets a little tricky with the lane, and this is where I have a problem, because that is only brought up when a man gets caught with another man. But it never gets brought up when someone is caught cheating, period. Because it could be unsafe sex, period. It's sex, period.
I'll give you
Human
that.
having sex with another human, period. So it should always be brought up as a topic, not only when it's a same gender loving situation. That's what I have an issue with, because honestly, when I hear of any infidelity, that's my first thought. When I'm watching Maury and she's bringing up 19 guys that ask for the daddy, that's my first thought. I don't care if it's same gender loving or not. That should always be the first thought. So I want to make that clear. But I wanted to go back to, can I go back to the point that I was going to make prior to?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay. So like I said, disclaimer, I'm about to probably piss some people off. It's okay. I'm totally okay with this.
Hold up, before you go, I'm in agreement, by the way.
Okay.
I'm in agreement. As men, we're guilty of this. I did it right here on your show. It's something about this chip in us. We'll leave something out that should have been put in because it was relevant. Because it was relevant. But we got a man's head. We think with the small one, right? So you caught me. You got me.
I mean, but we just educated them. That's what it's all about. That's why we have.
I ain't mad. I'm not afraid to be wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I'm not perfect.
Let Lily finish. We got you.
So what I was going to go with is this. I feel like the biggest issue comes back to how we are conditioned as a society to look at sex. Because I see sex through the lenses, we all are walking through this world with a set of lenses based off of our own personal experiences and traumas and all kind of other stuff, right? So my lenses that I'm wearing, being the formerly feminine gay male turned trans woman dating 98% DL men, my lenses look a little bit different probably from yours, Jen, or somebody else, okay? So because of my experiences in talking to a lot of people, men, women, people who identify as LGBT, people who don't, people who are questioning and unsure, I feel like the issue comes down to how we view sexuality as a society, period, all right? And so the whole labels of just want to stamp somebody with gay, straight, bi, this, I feel like that's the problem, because from just talking to so many people around the world, the conclusion I've come to is that most, not all, you got that sign, right? Humans are sexually fluid in some way, shape, or form. May not have acted out on it, may have had a thought or something, I don't know. Let's just say me, I'm strictly dickly, okay? But have I had a sexual experience with a woman? Yes, I have. Have I thought about it? Yes, I have. But in doing that experiment, it further solidified that I'm strictly dickly, okay? So, but someone will want to put the label bi on me just because I had that experience, right? Or if a woman has that type of experiment, she's not going to be stamped with the label bi automatically. But if a man has that experience, because how we're shaped in society, they're going to be stamped with the label gay or bi. It's going to be a scarlet letter, okay? And that's really where my issue comes in, because I just feel like we should be able to have that freedom to say, hey, I think that such and such, such and such is kind of doing something, making me tingle a little bit. You may not ever even do anything with them, but it's just that freedom of being human. And so this is how I look at sexuality. There's three things of how I look at it. I look at energy, form, meaning the body, like if the body's like, more masculine, more feminine, if the energy is more masculine or more feminine. And then the third one is genitalia. That's their penis or vagina, right? All right. So that's typically those three things is what make us attracted to someone, okay? Mm-hmm. So let's just take me, for example. I am asking men, what is it that you find attractive about me? Because you could just go get you a natural born woman and be okay, right? So there's something that is attracting you to me. And what I've come to the conclusion is that some men, not most, not all, but some men are attracted to feminine energy in the masculine or feminine form with maybe a penis or maybe a vagina, right? So that's what they're attracted to. Those are the three things. Now it may come out as me, right? Brother, you know what I'm saying? But and you can't help who you fall for sometimes. I've seen some trans men that I'm like, God damn, he's hot. He doesn't have the genitalia I'm looking for, but it got me thinking a little bit, but what, so do I have to have a stamp on me now because I have that thought or I have that whatever? So I feel like that's where the real issue comes in at. It's how we stamp each other.
Let me qualify that. First of all, two great points. First thing is, I've had a gay encounter. It wasn't for me. Like you, I figured out this is not my thing. Salute to men who eat vagina. It is an arduous task. Okay. It wasn't for me. One time, and I was like, okay, look, this is not for me. But I'm like, you see somebody, it's like, oh, okay, let's see what this feels like. And I'm the type of person that tries everything once, twice. If I like it, forever, if it's my thing. But it wasn't my thing. I was like, no, not whatever. So you're right. Someone's not going to automatically call me bi or gay for that one incident, 20 some odd years ago, right? But if it was a man, it'd be different. Second thing is, I have to validate and qualify what you said, because I've heard more than once, I've dated men and they're like, I love you because you're like a dude that I can fuck. I promise you, Lily, I have heard that. They've told me, yo, you're like the homie, like my homie, but then I can sleep with you. So you
the feminine body. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely right. And I was like, what you mean? I'm like, the homie. And they're like, no, like I can hang with you and talk to you about guy shit, and you're gonna come back at me, and you're not soft and you're not like sensitive about shit, but then I could, we could smash and it's still hot. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I have heard that before. Go ahead.
Is it fair to say that you are LGBT, you are a lesbian? Because once it happens, are you technically a lesbian?
No, I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to say that I'm in that community, and I wouldn't claim a community I'm not part of just because it's trending. And
I do agree with what you said, because I always used to make a joke about how like the same explanation you just said. Like a girl could say, "Oh, I tried it once and I didn't like it," but like if I go, "Yo, like the homie gave me top," be like, bro, like you can never come back. Like the whole hood is gonna be like, yo, he, bro, and then they're gonna think you not. So it's gonna be the bugarron scene that is like,
right.
You get what I'm trying to say? So it's a women like not kind of like a privilege, you acknowledge that.
But this is my issue with.
You was talking about she was talking about how lesbian women don't get the same criticism than, let's say, the masculine or just men that or just like women or like, you know, I don't know how to, you know what I mean. So like they don't get the same esteemicism as natural born women. So like that's what I mean. The same as you as a woman, you get to say, oh, I tried it with this college girl. There was college, you know, it was like, let's just blame it on 4 years. You know, I'm not that person no more. Right. But yeah, it was an encounter. But as a man, like once you, let's say you're in jail, you're a cellmate and you get sodomized, you know, the whole place is going to be like, yo, you somebody's girl, you know, in a sense. So that's what I mean. It's a women privilege at the end. Because then at the same time, in this whole conversation, let's bring it back to the Dominican lady. She was trying to kill the reputation of her men. She didn't stab him, but she with the phone is a weapon. And he's a DJ. I don't want him to get booked. I don't want him to do anything. And you know, like he flipped it on him. You know, as real men do. Can't say.
But Jen, you know, this is where I have an issue with when because I have a lot of women. You know, I love women, pretty women with masculine energy. Like I have a lot of strong women friends like that. I just love that, right? And a lot of them, because of how society is, question themselves, like, is it wrong? And I'm like, no, it's just you, right? And that's how you were made, because we're also supposed to have different, like sometimes masculine energy comes in a female form, and sometimes feminine energy comes in a male form. Typically, you cannot help that. And I want to be really clear about this. In a typical situation, it is what it is. You cannot turn someone gay or turn someone straight, unless the only time I've seen this, I can say that this is an exception to the rule, is if someone violates a child. Okay. Now, let me also be clear that everyone who identifies as LGBT has not been violated as a child, because I have never been violated as a child. That's not my story. Okay, because you know people want to always give me that story as they want to find some reason. I'm like, girl, it's just there is. Okay, all right. Because my mother wanted to know why I was going to why I had to be at the hairdresser and the nail salon with her, girl, because they cannot be messing up your hair. You're my mother. Okay, I talk about too many people in school. You can't have that hair. Okay, but she didn't understand why my brother didn't want to go, because he's not me. Right. He's a masculine male. Okay, I'm not. I'm going to the hairdresser with you. But when children are introduced to sexual images or touch or anything like that, that messes a child up sexually anyway. It doesn't necessarily make them turn gay or straight. It can make them promiscuous, or it can make them non-sexual, or questioning sexual, or questioning sexual identity. Those are the only times we can get, that's the gray area, right? But typically, baby, it is what it is.
My mom used to always say, like, she didn't believe in the you can make somebody gay, right? She was like, because it's a very involved, a man being with a man is a very involved, that's conviction. Like you being a man and wanting to deal with a penis, there's a lot of conviction there, like your own conviction, with the exception of what you said, if someone is sexually assaulted or what have you. But that's a big decision. That's like, no, I want penis. I know I got one, but I want penis. So I've always believed that as well, Lily. But again, it's a thin line, because now, you know, the emasculation of specifically the Black man, or the feminization of the Black man. And I really do think if people would sit with themselves and let go of the religion and the tradition and what their daddies told them, the majority of human beings are sexually fluid. Sorry, I know a lot of people gonna get pissed the fuck off.
I know they're gonna get pissed.
A lot of people are sexually fluid if you take away their traditions and their religions and things like that. And I think that's why people get so upset, because they think there's this huge, you know what I mean, agenda and like the feminization of the Black man. But I'm like, ain't no Black man born on this earth who is not fluid or interested going to lean any which way towards a penis if he doesn't want to. If he doesn't want to. But there's a thin line. What do you think about, Lily? What do you think about, homosexuality being introduced now at Disney and in cartoons and on t-shirts at Target? What do you think about that? Do you think that that can make a male child curious about homosexuality who wasn't curious to begin with? We look at Dwayne Wade's son, who now identifies as a girl. Do you think that now these kids being celebrated and getting attention for being gay, and as we know, children love attention. So if me waving a rainbow at age 9 and 10 is going to get me attention and on a parade float, I may do it, right? What do you think about that?
Great question. I love your question. God, this is why I love watching. All right. So this is a very thin line, very delicate topic, but okay, I just want to, I had to hit, my phone keeps ringing. So this is a thin line and delicate topic. I 100% believe in representation because I did not have representation growing up, and it really messed me up in a lot of ways. Because like I said, everyone was always trying to find an excuse why I was so feminine, right? They were like, did you have somebody in the family? But was the mailman gay? So tell me something. Give me a reason, because you couldn't be, And so representation.
The pink Apple Jacks was
something, right? So that I needed representation. I didn't have that. So because I knew who I was early on, as long as I've known of self, I knew that I was nothing like these other boys that was running around my family, okay? Or my dad. I grew up in a 2-parent household. That's another one they try to give us, okay? All right. So,
where's your daddy?
Right? So that's another one. So grew up in a 2-parent household, everything was very traditional, the church and all of that good stuff. And it messed me up because there was no one that was given what I was given. And Lord, that's a whole nother story, okay? Part of the book. Now, when we talk about sexuality, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. I don't like any form of sexuality being introduced to children, period, okay? Because the way I look at LGBT matters versus heterosexual or anything like that, I just look at them as human matters, okay? I put them all into the human bucket. And so what I wouldn't do in a heterosexual situation, that I feel may be inappropriate. There's a lot of inappropriate heterosexual sex being pushed down their throat, because that's the one that they love to say. They keep pushing this LGBT down our throat and turning our kids gay. And I'm like, well, they was pushing this whole heterosexual thing down my throat, and maybe it didn't work. Okay, I ended up putting other things there, but that's one of that. But I just don't like the sexuality, period. So representation, yes. Sexuality, no. But then because it's become so commercialized and bastardized, right? That's when we get into the real delicate place where I might need to be careful what I say, because my community be ready to cancel me. But I come for anybody. Anybody can get it with me. Because I don't belong to any group. Okay. I don't pledge allegiance to any group. There's certain things that I may agree with from this group and this group and this group. I take what I leave and leave the rest. Y'all can have the rest, So there's also things that I see with that movement that I don't agree with, It does need balance. Neither agenda should push too. So it is a very delicate.
And I agree with you 100%, because now as I scroll social media, I'm seeing little girls, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and their mothers are dressing them in the halter tops, in the tube tops, with the jeggings, with the little heels. These are little girls, like 2-year-old little girls in outfits that I would wear as a grown woman. That is also wrong. So there are a lot of things being pushed on our children or shoved down their throats that shouldn't be. But there's a thin line too as well.
I know what I wanted to say. I know what I wanted to say to better illustrate the point. Me personally, being a trans, non-binary, non-gender, LG, and elemental P person, I am not looking to be. I did a video. I'm not looking to be celebrated. Okay, because like I said, for me, it's a human issue, and I did a video on this during Trans Visibility Day, and what I said is, I'm not looking to be celebrated. I'm not looking for you to accept me or like me or agree with me or understand me. Just leave me the fuck alone. Let me go to the grocery store, pick out my tomatoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me walk down the street without you pointing at me. Just leave me the hell alone. You don't have to clap for me, right? You don't have to say, yes, girl, you doing it, girl. Like, you don't have, I don't need that. So the whole celebration of it, I think that's where the whole attention thing is coming from. Just leave us alone and don't push it. Don't hold us back. Leave us alone. And so I feel like there's too much celebration for being human. And that's where the kids are like, oh, is this going to get me attention? Well, because me and my best friend, we have a joke that all the millennials and under, they're all pan. All of them. They just yell, I'm pan. I'm pan. I'm pan. I'm like, girl, you haven't got your period yet. Stop it. Don't read.
You're a millennial though.
I know. I'm just. It's a joke. I'm being real facetious.
I'm just putting it out there.
So I wanted to. I wanted to talk about that thin line because now big pharma is involved. Anytime big pharma is involved, big pharma is involved now in giving medications and prescriptions to very young children who think that they're trans, right? We're talking as early as 5, 6, 7 years old. And I make a joke about myself all the time. I was a super duper tomboy. I wanted to do everything the boys were doing. They were in the supermarket packing bags. I wanted to go pack bags. They started pushing the carts up there. I wanted to dance like the boys. I thought the boys were stronger. I thought the boys were better. I wanted to fight like the boys. Like I wanted to hang with the boys. I wore my father's clothes, not my mother's clothes to school. I'd go in my true story. I'd go in my father's closet. He had the big lumberjack shirts. I had the big jeans. That is, I just found what men did more attractive, more effective, right? So that was me, early on. And I'm thinking, with my mother being ignorant to, Puerto Rican, very young, with her being ignorant and, a white lab coat knows all. White lab coats are like God. Had she taken me to the doctor and told the doctor or the doctor noticed me, I probably would have been on fucking trans medication at age 10 and fucking 11 because big pharma is pushing this. Oh, you're a tomboy. Back then it was just called a tomboy. Now it's trans. And I'm like, I just like boy shit. So it's like, it is a thin line. You have to be very careful what your children are exposed to because trust me, the way I was back then in today's environment, they would have been like, well, how about some meds? She may be trans. She may want to be a boy. And I'm the furthest thing from it.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so glad you brought that up because this is another thing that I talk about in private. I really talk about in public. But perfect example. You gave the perfect example. I am so against that. I'm against anything that can be possibly permanent and giving permanent decisions to a child whose frontal lobe is not even developed. Okay, I guarantee you, I would have humongous tits and all kind of stuff done because all evidence pointed to I should have been born a girl. Everyone told me that all the time, right? Me today, 41 years of age, who identifies as trans, non-binary, elemental P, I do not, even though I identify as trans, I don't want anything done to me.
Okay.
But I'm 41 years of age, out of inner work to get to that place, realize that I was okay the way I was, right? For me, not saying that goes for all trans women, but I'm just putting this out to educate the public that all trans people do not have to undergo hormones or surgeries to feel complete. I feel complete in the body that I was born in. I also was born and naturally have high production of estrogen. So I started to develop breast as a teenager when I was going through puberty anyway, okay? So all of those signs, as a teenager, if I was born now, I would have had all this operation done to me. It would have, that wasn't what was destined for me, right? And there are so many stories of people reversing their surgeries, whatever that could be reversed. So that's very dangerous, slippery slope with children. I don't like it.
Jen, I think that it's great that you bring this point up because I think that in the future, an older trans person who may have wanted to transition, when you know when they wanted to transition, start their transition like when they were like 12 and 13, and their parents didn't stop them, and big pharma was involved. I think that in the future, someone's going to want to, detransition, and they're going to sue. Somebody's going to sue somebody, and somebody's going to make a stink. It's going to most likely be somebody white because you know how angry white people most likely get the attention. You know what I mean? And if they're white and they're screaming loud enough, most likely somebody actually is going to do something. But the point here that I'm making is that right now I don't think anything can happen because the ill effects are all just theoretical per se. We have no tangible evidence. Laws happen when we have tangible evidence that okay, this is going to happen or this has happened. We don't need this to happen again. We're gonna enforce a law. You know what I mean? And there's a couple other things that I want to say. Because it's a great conversation. I also do believe that there is a double standard when it comes to men. Even with the slightest things. Like if we can also bring up, if anybody remembers, Eddie Murphy was caught giving a trans woman a ride home, quote unquote. He said he was giving her a ride home. I don't know what he was doing on that side of town. It's very specific, but maybe he was just feeling friendly. I don't know, but it's just so happens, coincidentally, this trans woman was she was thrown out of a window.
What about me, Eddie? What about me, Eddie?
And she was thrown out of a window. Maybe a couple of weeks later, I don't know. That's very coincidental. But anyway, there's another thing too. Like, remember when Tank said,
murdered?
Yes, she was thrown out of a window. Yes, you can
real quick, y'all. Don't forget about the guy from the Jenny Jones show, Teddy Pendergrass, Trey Songz.
I didn't know that. I mean, I remember that story so vivid.
Remember when?
That was like 90s, right? It was the 90s, right?
Yeah, it was like the 90s.
That was like normal stuff. Because Mars.
Hold on for one second. Let me just finish this real point real quick. Another thing too is that I remember Tank. He said if you suck dick twice, that doesn't make you gay. I kind of looked at the screen when he said that, like, I don't know, player. I don't know, player. Like, if you suck dick twice, that doesn't make you gay. Like, okay, so if you suck it once, you're not a gay person. But you went back to check again to see if it's not your thing, just to be sure. So it's not your thing. So it's like, yeah, I'm heterosexual. Like, okay, well, maybe you need to taste that version of Rocky Road just again, just to confirm that it wasn't your thing. Hey, whatever. You know what I mean? Well, look, listen. I'm not here to judge anyone. You know what I mean? However you try to, some people have quotas. Some people say that, no, this really isn't my thing. You know what I mean? I'm repulsed by the idea. Some people need quotas. Some people really need to be sure that something
Right.
really isn't their thing. And God bless them. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, but you know what I mean? Another thing too is that, in the 90s,
He needs to fill
know,
up the tank he needs to fill up the tank to be able to find out if he really wants it or not, So maybe that's why he came the next time, because nowadays pumping up the
maybe
tank
that's what it is.
kind of expensive. So I don't go and pump up the tank all the way, So maybe that's what he did. He just pump up a little bit, came back. Damn, but twice he didn't say twice. I'm gonna go back. You sure he said twice?
No. Go ahead and go. He said twice. He said twice. You can go check this out. Another thing too, in the 90s, with a lot of entertainers, a lot of rappers, a lot of rappers were sleeping with powerful men to get put on.
Oh
no, this is real. This is real. I mean, if you know a lot about what goes on in the entertainment industry, you know what I mean.
Dr. Dre used to wear blouses back the early 90s, and then he took the gangster persona and then producer. But if you go back to Dr. J, he used to dance with like 4 guys with blouses, and I was like, yo, that's how they started.
And a lot of guys, they opted to. There's a known. I'm not even going to say this person's name. There's a known person who is a legendary mogul who received the seed money for his company. You know what I mean? His company produced a number of legends, and he received seed money, and all he had to do was spend the night with another mogul. Mogul was the mogul that he slept with was white. So yeah, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna say the names of these people, but what's up?
I said mogul mingling. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Haran, have you ever seen the Richard Pryor roast?
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, him and Paul Mooney.
Talk about
allegedly.
it. Talk about it.
Yeah,
Richard Pryor was an open homosexual. He had sex with Marilyn Marlowe, the guy that played the mafia movie, not The Sopranos, the Godfather.
Oh, Brando. You talking about Brando? You talking about Brando?
Yeah. He went on stage and he basically said, "Yeah, I gave him a blowjob. He basically they were very open about it back in the 80s and 90s.
I mean, and
Richard Pryor was the biggest dry snitch that ever walked this earth. That's why his career was over so fast, because he was giving little subliminal messages in such a sneaky way to black people.
Over.
Huh?
You said Richard Pryor's career was over fast?
Yeah.
You think?
Richard Pryor. Listen. The status listen. You got people like, look, LL got about 20 movies. DMX, Will Smith. This is what Richard Pryor's career should have looked like until he started doing little sneaky shit, especially in the movie. Go look at his movies that he did with his partner Gene Wilder, and check out his roast where he exposes Paul Mooney, and he says something to the effects of like, yeah, Paul Mooney, you was in that room giving head too. And it's like everybody's laughing like it's a joke, but you know how to read facial expressions. You know what's, come on, you're my age. You know when somebody's bullshitting you.
Everybody knows Paul Mooney was gay. Did he have to be outed?
I didn't know that.
What?
Hell no.
You have no gaydar. You have no gaydar. Head.
Oh, I have zero gaydar.
Wait. I had my suspicions about Paul Mooney until I was out with my girl one day and we was on 42nd, and I was with my girl. I was like, hey, yo, that's Paul Mooney. And she was like, oh yeah, that is Paul Mooney. And he was talking to another guy. And that's when I saw it, because the mannerisms that he was actually displaying as he was speaking to the gentleman, it was clear as day. I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know.
Well, Haran, I could show you people that can bench press 400 pounds, have tattoos all over them.
I'm not denying it. I'm not denying it, brother. I'm not saying there's a look. There's not a look attached to it. Like, yeah, he is or he isn't.
I'm pretty sure the guest that was on with us could break that down better than I could.
You know what I mean? There's a dude in Attica right now who you know what I mean, with 12 tattoos on his Attica with 12 tattoos on his tongue. And he's into that. So it is what it is.
All right, guys. So on that note, I'm going to end this stream. I have to be on Behind the Barber at 7 p.m. PST. That's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So after here, I'm going to unwind, jump in the shower, get ready for Behind the Barber. I would like, Lily, please tell people where they can find you. I would love for people to follow you. This was amazing.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks to everyone else that participated as well. You can find me, everything, all of my social media is the same at YB Limited. That's the letter Y, the letter B, the word limited. YB Limited. I don't.
Okay, put that in there on all social media. It's YB Limited, YB Limited spelled correctly. This was amazing, guys. Thank you for being respectful and open and candid and sharing. I'd like to get your final thoughts on this whole stream before I shut down. Lily.
All right, I'll go.
Who's gonna go first? Reese, wait a minute.
I'll go first.
I said Lily, damn it.
Oh, my bad.
Lily, go.
Damn.
No, I really thought that this was a really good show. I think I really was just, I like the way people were just open, hearing different perspectives from a different set of lenses. Like I said, all walk through life set of lenses based on our own personal experience. And one of my biggest pets when someone tries to tell you about the lens that you've been walking with. Like, you know, there's certain things, like for instance, the color green. We've all seen the color green so many damn times that we know that's damn green when I see it, right? So it's kind of like that. I'm only going to speak on things that I'm sure about, or if that's experience, or if I'm not sure about, I'll take this is just my opinion, and this opinion is based on this, but I want to just thank them for my, that I would share my, I do know a lot of it not universal, and you know, then I'm gonna have you when I do my podcast. You're gonna be a regular guest on there. I know you're already busy, but I'm sorry. You are one of my favorite people. You already know how we feel about each other. But so yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lily. All right, Reese, what you got?
I'll go before Reese. I'll leave before. I'll go before him.
Okay, go ahead.
I would say rest in peace to all the people that got affected in Buffalo, New York. There was a shooting in a supermarket by a white supremacist a few hours ago. Yeah, we got to stay vigilant about things like that. And I also wanted to say shout outs to Lily for actually coming into the space, you know, and giving us that. And before I leave, I just wanted to do this. Bye-bye.
He's so stupid. They're just tits, Little Pressure. They're just tits. Bags of fat they are. Reese, go ahead, sir.
Oh, boy. I didn't have a whole lot of commentary today. I really came here to learn because I'll be honest with y'all, I'm from the old school. I avoided gay people for about 45 of my 52 years on this earth. But then I started working and had the people on my job were gay. I found out 2 of my homies was gay. I didn't turn my back on them. So I've adopted 2 gay friends. I look at the LGBT community a little different now. I'm still dealing with a little bit of confusion, honestly. I've gotten in trouble a couple times for making, what did they call it? Gender sensitive statements at my job, and I didn't know it was. Like, for example, I called Bruce Jenner my idol, one of my idols as a kid, and everybody in my class blew up on me. How dare you call him Bruce? They even called me to the office and had to give me some like sensitivity training or some shit. But anyway, I'm learning every day. You know what I mean? I had a lot of fun with this conversation. I actually came here to achieve a goal. I wanted to beat Haran to the panel just one fucking time. And I couldn't do it. It's on my bucket. You don't believe me? It's on my bucket list, right? Hang gliding, buy a Ferrari, Annalicia, on the block with. Anyway, it's on there. It's on there. All I want to do is beat him to the goddamn stream. Can I beat him one time? That's it. I love y'all, man. I'll be back for the next one.
Take care, Reese.
Haran, what you got for us?
I just want to say a few things. One of the main things I want to talk about is, believe Lily spoke about this. We really need to let go of the whole. There's this agenda to feminize our children and feminize the black man by way of media. First of all, that's scientifically impossible. Okay, because if that was even possible, then you could have easily eradicated the gay community through the decades and centuries of heterosexual content that was shoved down their throats. Damn, that's not a good choice of words, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like some boys looked at, they grew up watching Disney movies and they saw Prince Charming and they saw the kissing, they heard the heterosexual innuendos, and they said, "Nah, I'm still choosing this flavor." And they did that because something was inherently in them. Correction farms have not worked. You know, all these things have not worked. And also, be very careful about how you treat people who are trying to integrate into society. Because don't forget, your ancestors were treated the same way when they were integrated into society. When the idea of, seeing black people in places of worship and business areas, the ideas of black people actually marrying white people. Yeah, these things were met with notions of this is going to ruin the race, this is going to end the world, and blah blah blah. Oh yeah, the idea of black people and brown people actually not being slaves, that idea alone, many believed would have been the end of the world. Never forget that. And if you're standing on the side and you see mostly white people around you, history dictates that you're on the wrong side. Okay? So just keep that in mind as you're going through your travels, and be a critical thinker. Look at both sides of the coin and make your own decisions based on, what you gather from the data, and stop following other people.
Thank you, Haran. I want to piggyback off of that and just say, just teach tolerance of humanity in general. Just so you don't have to teach why a man may want to be with a woman or what. Just teach tolerance for humanity and let your children know, let your family members know, let your old grandma know, you know what I mean? It is okay. People are who they are, especially if they're not hurting your ass in any way, shape, or form. Just teach tolerance, especially because the world is changing. It is not just about sex and gender. There are people, like I said, they're identifying as mermaids, and your child may have to accept that someone's calling themselves Ariel and wearing a tail. That is the world we live in now. So just teach tolerance. If no one is hurting you physically, mentally, or emotionally, just teach tolerance. Let people do them. You do you. And sorry, if your child is gay, that's just what it's gonna be, right? So teach tolerance. And if your child is straight, that's what it's gonna be. Okay, watch out for big pharma, because I would have had a penis right now if I was born in this environment. Can you imagine all of this, a dude? No. All right. So thank you so much, Lily. You know how much I love and respect you. Looking forward to your podcast. Please follow Why Be Limited. Lily is the shizzle. Haran DeMarco, thank you. As usual, Tristan, take us out.
I love today's comments because it was civil, which we, as you've seen on other panels, you don't get. I said, so again, there have been things ringing in the streets, but one thing we can sit there and say, other people from different perspectives all over the world came here and didn't have to disrespect each other. I said, so I'm not saying, Jen, I ain't saying you're racist, but hey, I don't think, I'm not seeing it.
I'm trying so hard to prove them right.
Exactly. You're trying real hard. So everybody, just treat everybody like actual human being, as long as they moving and breathing, they ain't affecting you. And that's it. Move in love, move in peace, and move in respect.
I love that. Last super chat. Thank you, Il Doctrine. Il Doctrine says, I wanted to come on the panel, but it's late. You full of it. I'm going to fight you. Probably for the best, because this topic has settled my sexuality, which gets questions at the highest clip. Still, I'd like to buy you a smoothie. I will accept your smoothie, sir. I'm still going to fight you when I see you. Tristan, dismiss the class. I'm done.
I love you all. Classes dismissed.
Peace.
Peace. All right, guys, hit that like and subscribe on the way out. Thank you for spending this hour and a half with me, 2 hours with me. I'll be at Behind the Barber after this. Just look it up on YouTube, okay? All right, guys, good night. See you on the next one. Hit that notification bell so you know when I go live and you can get in the room quickly.